Hey everyone, Ricky and Lauren with Med Spa Magic Marketing back again. And today I was shocked to learn we have not actually covered this in a previous episode on the YouTube channel or on the podcast. We had talked about this in a client newsletter. I knew I had written about it somewhere a couple months back, but we have not talked about this in our content yet. And I think this was kind of like a little bit of an epiphany in terms of what we should be doing with our websites. I think the vast majority of you listening to this are going to have a holy crud moment. I need to go back and revamp some of what we're doing. And the same thing is true for our clients. So I kind of wanted to talk about what we're seeing right now in terms of like website builds, what we think our treatment pages should look like versus what they actually look like, and how we can improve the performance of our website so we're convincing and converting more prospects. So today we're going to be talking about why your med spa website should be your best sales rep. That's going to be turning treatment pages into mini conversion machines. So we were at a marketing intensive a few weeks back in Miami. So we were with a bunch of the top agency owners and agencies from all over the country and even throughout the world, talking about elevating client results and team experiences and just making our agencies better for our teams and for our clients. And one of the speakers was Marcus Sheridan, who's an author of a book called They Ask You Answer. And this quote that he delivered was, your website should be your best sales rep. And if it's not, you're missing out, right? It's 2025. The vast majority of people that are thinking about doing business with us are going through our website to figure out, is this the place I want to pull the trigger on scheduling that appointment? So we're going to talk about how to turn your website into your best sales rep today. The problem we see with most med spa websites and most service businesses in general is they're what we call brochureware, right? It's generic treatment descriptions, like what is Botox? It's a stock photo and some sort of weak or non-existent call to action. And I think this happens because so many times we go to build a website, you got a bajillion other things on your plate as you're launching your business or even revamping a website. You get really caught up in design. You want it to look good. But when it comes to the actual meat there that's on the bone, right, we kind of leave something to be desired. And we skip over this and we just check the box because we have a Botox page up. We don't necessarily think super critically about what is actually on that page and is it achieving the mission of being our best sales rep. So today we're going to talk about, imagine instead that you've got rich content, proof that you're providing quality work and that you're hopefully the provider people are going to select over all the other options that they have available. And we're going to show you how to infuse personality so that you can develop a deeper connection with your prospects that gets them excited about doing business with you. And this is something we've been talking about a lot, but this is the reality, Lauren, is like we talk about when somebody gets to your website, if they're on your Botox page of your website, chances are they've already decided they want Botox. And so many of us miss the mark here because when we get to our Botox service page for most of these prospects that have already decided they want Botox, what are we doing? We're just trying to explain to them what Botox is. And by the time they performed a Google search for Botox near me and landed on our website, they already have that information. They're trying to figure out why we're the provider to select and why we're the best choice. So that comes down to demonstrating trust, expertise, explaining how we're going to provide safety, proof of results and concepts, and some element of differentiation, which I think can be really hard in this space. But going through some of this checklist, like what are we trying to accomplish? What are some of the questions we're trying to answer, Lauren, when people get to the website?
Yeah, I think the main thing here that goes back to what Ricky said, that's the biggest point, is people already know that they want Botox. So let's restructure that. Let's change. We don't need to educate on what Botox is, but what makes your Botox approach unique. So a couple of those questions that you can focus on when building that page are, why should people trust you? You might want to make that the top thing that stands out on the page in what we call the hero section. Do you have any awards or unique things that set you apart of why people should trust you? What are your credentials? What are your providers certified with, or what are their credentials? What is your unique approach? That's something cool to share, especially if somebody wants Botox. They probably think, well, I could get Botox at a million places, especially once they perform that search. But why are you unique in the way that you do Botox? Why would they want to get Botox with you? How do you ensure safety and results? So touching on some of the concerns or pain points too that people might have with getting Botox. That might be a big one for some people, is there's a needle going into my face. How are you going to approach that up front and already take care of that concern before it's even scheduled? And then what do real patients say at scale? So not just including maybe one cool review on your website, but do we have really solid social proof that a lot of people are really happy with the work that we do? We have a ton of reviews, a ton of happy patients? Do we showcase really good before and afters? So basically making this a pitch of why someone should do Botox with you, not just what your Botox is or what Botox is in general.
Yeah, and if you're thinking, well, I don't really have a unique approach, it's just Botox is Botox, I do my best. I guarantee you do. Think a little bit more critically. Like I know for us, like right, there are a million marketing agencies that run Facebook ads, Google ads, and do SEO for their clients, but we could go in a pretty long conversation about what we're doing differently. And I think going into detail about your unique approach, how you think about service and how you go about treatment, those are the details that instill confidence. So people get excited about doing business with you over the other options that they have available.
It could even just
Um,
be too about how if you have a unique in-office experience. So I know I have one client who they have a dual kind of business where one half is wellness, one half is med spa, and they build into your visits that you get to walk around. They give you a glass of champagne. Somebody sits with you while you fill out your paperwork and helps talk through your concerns. So what about your experience is unique too, not just necessarily your treatment philosophies, but what makes somebody want to be there?
Yeah, the experience starts at the point of conversing with a lead, all the way through follow up, rebooking, and retention, not just in the treatment room. Really good point, Lauren. This episode is brought to you by Med Spa Magic Marketing, my agency. We help med spas and aesthetics practices grow with more effective marketing strategies. And I know that's a vague phrase, right? It's a vague claim. So I have an offer for you. I offer this to any new prospects. If you're interested in exploring another marketing option, a new agency, or just getting into Facebook, Instagram, Google ads for the first time, I'd love to show you why we're different, what we're doing for clients. And we can do that via a 1.5-hour planning session where I'll outline a specific marketing plan and I'll give you all of the blueprints that we would implement if we were to do business together. Now you can take that, use that on your own, hire someone else to help you execute it, or work with us. We really don't hold anything back on that strategy call. And I think you'll have a lot of confidence in how you manage your marketing investment moving forward, understanding some of the nuances that can help you implement more effective marketing strategies for your business. So if you want to do that, you can go to medspamagicmarketing.com. So in terms of some of the checklist items, how do we do this? What are some action items and implementation steps? Lauren, what are some of the things we've been talking to our clients about and trying to get people to do more of?
Videos, videos, videos. I would say that is like the biggest thing. We're going to talk about that constantly. Recording yourself and your providers, just getting comfortable with talking about what you're doing. What is your philosophy? Is it a unique approach? Even just getting them their personality out there, getting people comfortable with you. And then we even talk through some audio type versions of things, walking through maybe what your page content is about. One of my clients, I love the way their website is structured. The very first thing on the page is a video of their lead provider introducing you to a couple of their different providers, as well as walking you through their office and teaching you about their unique and innovative approach to things. So get really comfortable with videos. I think that is a huge one that builds context, know, like, and trust factors before people just have to read through your whole page of stuff.
Yeah, absolutely. Like think about it this way as you're listening to this. So a lot of you, we hear from you all the time. A lot of you end up being clients of ours, and you develop that know, like, and trust with Lauren and I because we're sitting here, we're able to show our personality. You can understand like the context and the tone, and that stuff delivers additional value in terms of its ability to connect. It's a lot different than just reading the words on the page. If we're trying to show personality, people want to do business with people they know, like, and trust. The best way to demonstrate that is you got to show up. You got to show off a little bit and let them connect at a deeper level. And I think the option of putting that in video form is really important. And you can just convert that to audio. So you can literally have an audio button right below the video too. It's basically like a podcast about the treatment page. Hey, thanks for visiting our Botox page. We want to talk about all the things that our clients typically ask when they're exploring doing Botox with our practice or they're looking for a new provider. And just like Lauren said, going through an audio only version of the page. I think that's a cool idea. So really making this multimedia rich, I think is important. Lauren, I really like that. I don't want to skip over it. The thing you mentioned, the subtleties here. This is a business of you're trying to find the 1%. Where can we make ourselves 1 or 2% better than our competitors in terms of how we're positioning and the patient experience? How cool is that idea to be sitting with, instead of handing them a clipboard like a doctor's office and having them go sit in a chair, actually walking through it with them, like sitting in the lobby with the person as they go through it with champagne. What a cool way to tailor the experience. That was really, really neat. Okay. I think I might have lost Lauren, but I'm going to continue here. I know she's having some internet challenges today. So if we did lose her, we'll drop her off and I'll continue just to kind of wrap up the rest of the presentation here. So some other things here, transparent pricing. People want to know. We see this all the time in our lead forms. People want to know, okay, you're running a new patient special, like that's cool. What does your pricing look like after that? And so one of the things Marcus Sheridan talks about in his book, They Ask You Answer, is if you're charging more than your competitors, for that to be successful, for your pricing to be successful at holding a premium price point, you have to be able to explain why. So if people know, like, and trust you, they think that you're going to produce an actual superior outcome, they will pay more. The right clients will pay more. So I recommend kind of being transparent with your pricing. If you have a new patient promo, make sure that that's clear as an invite for like the people to do business with you the first time, to experience what it's like to do business with your med spa. We always say you want to create perception through experience. So increase the chances of getting that first at bat. And then on an ongoing basis, don't be afraid to show your prices and just explain your price point and why people still choose to do business with you, even if you have a premium price point. And if you have a lower price point, it's even easier to make that case or that claim. So we also talk about the consultation process. So we've talked a lot in previous episodes about how to manage the consultation and to do it well. Talk about all of the things that are unique to your consultation. Like, what do they expect to experience when they come in and get a consult? How long is it going to take? What are the things that you're going to go through? Do you have a certain like SOP or protocol that you're running through to make sure that you're going to give them the treatment that's going to get them their desired outcome? Are there any myths that you bust regularly? For us, I talk on the SEO side. I think a blog is one of the biggest wastes of time and money. That's like a top myth buster for us when we talk about SEO. You probably have a version of this in your med spa. Hey, people think that if you do this with Botox, that it's a good idea. We actually think it's a bad idea, and here's why. Or we actually prefer to use this service or to do things in this order. So all of those things are additional little ways to implement those know, like, and trust elements into your marketing messaging. Hey there, wanted to briefly interrupt the episode to make a quick ask. If you're a podcast listener, it would mean the world to us if you leave a review for the podcast, whether that's on iTunes or Spotify. It's something I hadn't really remembered or thought of asking for, but it does help us show up more frequently so that we can reach more people with the information that we're providing. So it would mean the world to us if you'd leave a review on iTunes or Spotify. If you're listening on audio, if you're watching on YouTube, make sure to hit the subscribe button so you're in the loop for future videos and you don't miss any of the content that we're putting out. Also showcase outcomes with context and commentary. A really cool strategy. You ever see people on like Instagram where they're showing like a patient going through treatment and they're doing a little voiceover with a little mic from their phone or their earbuds? Imagine having those embedded as you're talking about different things that you've run into with different clients. This client wanted X, Y, and Z, so we did A, B, and C. Here was the process. Here's the outcome. Cool additional multimedia touch points with commentary, I think, would be a really cool idea. Testimonials. So Lauren talked about we want to show reputation at scale. So anybody can cherry pick a testimonial. So I don't think testimonials carry a ton of weight unless they've got some depth to them. So I think you want to do this at least pairing it with third-party data points that are irrefutable. So you can cherry pick 2 client testimonials, but then I go to Google reviews and 50% of your clients had a horrible experience. People have transparency into that. They're not going to want to do business with you. So cherry picking testimonials isn't going to cut it. But if you compare a third-party reference point, like voted best in the county 3 years running, rated 5 stars or 4.9 stars on Google with over 500 patient reviews, and you got a couple client testimonials to add some meat and context to the review conversation, helpful. Staff picks. So do you have certain staff members that are really good or really like that treatment for certain reasons? Make sure that you highlight little quotes or information from staff endorsing specific things. Oh, I really love Botox for this specific client. Or I really like Botox paired with this and this and this to achieve desired outcome. You can build in some cross-selling and upselling into your service pages too, and prime people for those conversations when they get into office. So some staff commentary, staff picks and favorites, I think are really good little bells and whistles to add to the website content. Lauren mentioned highlighting credentials. Now you have to be careful here because credentials in and of themselves are not substantial enough to help you stand out because they're a leading indicator. If you have good credentials, people are hoping that equates to better patient outcomes. If you have good credentials, but then I go to Google and you've got terrible reviews, those good credentials don't matter. They're only adding a little bit to the equation here if it's also paired with good third-party reputation data that backs the effectiveness of the credential. So if you can explain the why behind the credential, why is the patient going to achieve a better outcome because of the credential, that's beneficial. So if you're a plastic surgeon and you're doing Botox, maybe you can talk about your training and the specific nuances of how you approach service that might make a difference in terms of patient outcome, but always tie the credential to an impact on patient outcome. Personal philosophy. Lauren already talked about experience, but what about personal philosophy and your personal experience? What got you into the space? Either you as the business owner or your providers. What got them into the space? How do they think about treatment? What's their philosophy on how they treat people? What they think about beauty? What type of result they're trying to achieve for those clients? If you speak to that, you're going to connect with the right people that you want doing business with you that are going to be a good fit once they're in the service chair. So example, instead of just talking about Botox, hey, our 5-step protocol for Botox or our 5-step Botox patient experience. Position the practice also, not just the treatment, like we talked about. So why should people choose to do business with you? They're not there just to get information about Botox. So make it unique. We've had previous episodes on how to come up with a protocol that, and maybe even give it a name for each of your different services or your overall treatment philosophy that can help differentiate you. So again, treatment pages should really build trust, educate, differentiate, and prove results. That's what we're trying to accomplish here, because at the end of the day, that's going to allow us to take more of that cold or lukewarm traffic and turn those into booked consults. We assume that every lead that comes in from our marketing efforts, whether it's a Facebook ad, a Google ad, they come in directly from search, they're a word of mouth referral, they see us in print. Vast majority of those savvy prospects, they're going to go to our website, our social media accounts, and our Google reviews. Those are the 3 places we assume all leads that are thinking about doing business with us go, right? Google reviews, social media, and website, and Instagram would be at the top of the social media list. But this is how we can use our website to turn more of that traffic into booked consults. If you have basically a 2%, 3% conversion rate right now on your website, my hunch would be some of these changes can probably lead to something like a doubling of your conversion rate without any additional ad expense. So I think this carries a little bit of a lift across the board to your other marketing initiatives and your marketing efforts. So hopefully this was a good, valuable little tidbit here on how to rethink your website and your service pages. I know this adds some work to your plate. It is an additional project, but I think it's worth doing. Most marketing agencies are going to have trouble implementing this for you. You're going to have to do most of the legwork yourself, because you're going to have the best feel on what makes you unique, your treatment philosophies, your personalities, and you can't outsource the commentary. You want your providers and your staff actually talking through the things that make you unique and how you provide treatment and think about service. And then your marketing agency can embed those on the pages. But that's the goal here. If you want help rethinking your treatment pages, or you wanted to schedule a one-on-one, as always, we offer free consultations to talk about your marketing strategy from top to bottom. And those are 90-minute sessions. We don't even go through our sales packages and our programs. We literally just spend a 9-minute consulting block to deliver value to you and your practice and make sure that you leave with valuable takeaways that'll help you grow and scale your business, whether you end up working with us or not. We do reserve those for practices that are doing at least $50,000 a month minimum in revenue. But if that's you, we look forward to talking to you. You can visit medspamagicmarketing.com, and we'll see you on the next episode.